Let me assure you that our priority will remain to ensure stability and security.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, security for Canadians.
Galactic Empire!
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
You are listening to the election fallout on oppositionradio.com.
I am pressed, printed, stamped, and strategically removed. I am everybody. Insane without innocence. I am trapped, tricked, packaged, and shipped out. I am produced.
Mr. Cutler.
I am produced.
Mr. Cousiner. Mr. Iking.
I am produced.
Mr. McCallum. Mr. McGinty. Mr. Carpalagia. Mr. Sims, Bonnie Vista, Grand Falls, Windsor. Ms. Murray. Mr. Andrews. Ms. Duncan at Tobaco North. Mr. Trudeau.
And welcome to episode 27 of Election Fallout on OppositionRadio.com. My name is Tony Lofen, and I am joined as always by Mike Cook, originally from North Bay, but currently occupying Orillia, Ontario. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, considering feeling like I've been smashed by a very large and fast-moving omnibus budget bill.
Yeah, but have you gotten any sleep in the last 48 hours or so?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not going to stay up and watch them sit up and stand up and sit down, and stand up and sit down. And it's very frustrating at this point because it's hard not to feel a little bit of futility in the process, but at the same time, it's all that can be done. So
yeah, I just I just got to say thank you to all the opposition MPs who are doing this right now.
Absolutely, I don't mean to take that away from them. It's the only option left. It was the only thing left for them to do, and at least the attention is being drawn. The futility is in the sense of fighting with Stephen Harper and his lack of interest in having any true dialogue.
See, this is the thing, you know. Like a lot of people say, hey, well, this is not going to get you anywhere. They're not going to win any of these votes, right? However, the fact that they're doing this gives the media something to talk about. If there was no opposition to the Omni Bill, the media would be already on to the next thing, right?
Exactly.
So it's kind of like any protest that happens, or the Occupy movement itself, its physical presence. The physical action gives people something to talk about.
And let's face it, too. I think if the opposition parties did nothing, I think that would be worse than doing something that may not have an effect in the end. It's they have to show whatever opposition they can to these policies. It would be it would be an even sadder day if they didn't. Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to point out that I haven't seen anything from any media outlet that calls this omnibus bill anything other than an absolute travesty of democracy. Yeah, the criticism is coming from across the board from both politicians and journalists. It's not getting a lot of good publicity.
Yeah, that at least is a plus, you know, because even the National Post is calling down this, you know. Even Andrew Coyne, that's exactly what I was thinking of too. He wrote an amazing article, you know, like as though these. I think basically what he said, not to paraphrase, but is that these opposition MPs are fighting for the soul of democracy right now, and yeah, those are strong words, and you know, I don't know. It's hard. The other thing he said too in that article was that if Stephen Harper had it his way, the Parliament would essentially have two bills, one in the spring and one in the summer, and the rest of the time, you know, who would need Parliament? One omnibus bill for part of the year and another omnibus bill for the other part. Good point. And of course, no debate. Yeah, exactly.
See, now this is the thing. Canadians have to be really careful about giving a political party dictatorial power. Like, let's hope this is the last majority of any sort we ever see. You know?
Yeah, I feel that more and more too, and I agree. I don't even. I would even say, another party getting a majority government, even though I might agree with them more, I still think that the powers of a majority government are way, way beyond what should be given to any government.
Absolutely. I mean, you could say that I would far prefer a Thomas Mulcair government to a Stephen Harper government, but I just don't think that any one man should hold that kind of power in this country. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And these past few days have really made me contemplate that kind of thing too, where I don't want to say that I can, and it would be dishonest of me to say I can actually see through the eyes of a conservative, but I can just imagine being a conservative and being on the other side of the fence, and I'm sure they're just as frustrated at times too. And again, it's not that I would agree with their position, but it just goes to show that it would be better to have dialogue at all times. People need to be able to talk and converse and work out their differences rather than just have things jammed through.
Yeah, well, see, like, I mean, I don't know, I really don't know too much about the quality of the character of my MP, who is Jay Aspin, a conservative. But we do see, because he doesn't say anything, right? We do see sometimes people step out of line, like MP David Wilkes from the Conservative Party. He's in British Columbia. You remember how he kind of broke ranks and said that, if there's 12 other Conservative MPs with me, I would vote this budget down. And then we could break it into smaller
I just wonder
bills.
how much he was taken out of context there, where he might have basically been saying there aren't another 12 and therefore I won't be the 13th. But nonetheless, he did say that he had concerns about the omnibus
Well,
bill
the proof
itself.
is in the pudding of the about face, right? Take it out of context or not, he went straight back to the media and towed the Stephen Harper party line for sure. You know what I mean? Which he wasn't doing. He was actually, I guess he was caught talking like a real human being to his constituents and explaining the situation, how powerless. It must be basically what I'm getting at is it must be incredibly emasculating for these MPs to know that they're elected and the only role they will serve is to rubber stamp anything that the PMO, the Prime Minister, and the Cabinet want to do. They literally have no input. They have to vote according to party lines and then take that back to their constituents and sell that. Right? So
it's always been a problem in any sort of party-related politics, but I think that Stephen Harper has taken that and turned the volume up to the point where I think if you see anybody step out of line against them, I don't think they have very much of a future in the Conservative Party at all.
No.
So.
No. And what else has been going on other than this omnibus bill, which I guess is enough, but everyone's heard enough about that. We all know what the score is with that. Anything else interesting happening?
Well, it looks like there's the Liberal Party has decided to just shake up the whole context of their leadership race in the last little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I guess it came down to Bob Rae, and the Liberal establishment was getting set to release him from his promise not to run for the leadership.
Right.
And he came out and instead he preempted them by saying he will not be running for the leadership.
Mm-hmm. Which makes you really wonder what I'd be really interested to know the actual process that unfolded within the Liberal Party, because previously it really seemed like Rae had and it could just be the way that the media was covering it, but it really did seem like Rae was pulling that party towards bringing the date closer, getting ready to run himself, and with Justin Trudeau being out of the picture in the sense that he had said he wasn't interested in running, it really looked like Rae was pretty much going to be the next Liberal leader.
Yeah,
for better or for worse, right?
But the thing against that was Justin Trudeau was on a nationwide fundraising tour. He was meeting and greeting people, and he was constantly traveling and doing meet and greets and ridings. at $100 a plate dinners. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for a guy who's not running, that's a hell of a lot of fundraising. That's a hell of a lot of traveling. For a guy who says he's not running because he wants to be with his young family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If there's anybody that understands that you can turn out all right even if you have a busy dad, it would be him.
Well, what are your feelings, Tony? Do you believe that Bob Rae had originally planned to run and switched and changed his mind, or do you think that he had been ploying, or putting that out as a ploy, that he was going to run to kind of bait Stephen Harper in, and then not knowing the whole time that he wasn't going to run?
No, Bob Rae's an addict. He's a political animal.
He had to have wanted to.
Yeah, he wanted to. There's no question about that. He was going to run, but I don't think he really feels the need to get trounced for his third time in a row.
Yeah, a lot of people have also suggested that his own polling had shown that he just couldn't pick numbers up in Ontario, and I think the Liberals know.
And I don't think that stopped him. I think he understood. I just think that he was going to say, well, I'll win them over somehow. I won them over before, or whatever. Or they'll hate Harper so much, or Mulcair will stumble, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I believe that Bob Rae, who I really like and I really respect, by the way.
And there's no reason that he shouldn't have as much confidence in himself as he had, because, I mean, he's still one of the leading parliamentarians.
Yeah, what a career, man. What a career. And he's a phenomenally talented human being. He knows that. A lot of people know that. He's got a following in the Liberal Party. He's got a following nationwide, you know. I think he's going to have problems living down his days in Ontario, because people just can't wrap their mind around the fact that he was premier in the late 80s while Brian Mulroney was prime minister and the world economy was in the shitter. You know what I mean? And so yeah, did Bob Rae create all of those problems? No, I don't think so. But the media and the corporate media like to hang as much around his neck as possible, because he was NDP. He couldn't buy a break no matter what he did, man. He couldn't keep the corporate power happy. He couldn't keep unions happy. He couldn't do anything. He was handcuffed the whole time. He never expected to win that election, so there's a lot of things a lot of promises he had to break. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like Bob Rae. I just don't I think he was going to run. I just don't think he wanted to get beat by Justin Trudeau. I think he was waiting to find out what Trudeau was going to do. And I think
that's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting way.
I just think that and you know what? If he ran, the only person that could beat him would be a Trudeau, as far as I'm concerned. You know,
right?
Because
I suppose that's the other thing that I noticed right away with the leadership race was, as soon as Bob Rae steps away from it, in a way it definitely benefits the Liberal Party, but in another way they just lost perhaps the other than everything we just mentioned, with all of his characters and all of his skills, they did lose a great leader, in the sense that if Bob Rae doesn't want to become the Liberal leader, he probably won't in the future now either.
He's got to be the deputy
leader.
No, he's 60. He's in his mid 60s. So this isn't like, no, actually he's 63, I believe.
Yeah, he's 63, I believe.
And he's not. He doesn't have.
So he's pretty much given up his dream of becoming Liberal leader for for the rest of the future, not just this time around.